Specifically in our area, when someone has struggled with pornography, sexual brokenness, addiction, how can that person know if they're ready for marriage or even remarriage if they're working through recovery?
Well, that's, as you guys well know, that's not an unusual thing at all these days because pornography is so accessible. And so almost always there is some history of that with nearly any guy that's getting married. So it's not something that in our mind we go, oh, pump the brakes. We got to call, sound the alarm. This is something that we have to help that person. There's a little statement that we have had for a long, long time. We say that your marriage can only be as healthy as you are. Now, a more harsh way of saying that is your marriage can only be as healthy as the least healthy person in it. And so, if there's an addiction like pornography or gambling, or there's struggles with things like an eating disorder or what have you, um, you want to work on who you are in the context of that relationship. And so, getting married does not instantly heal that. It doesn't make it easier or change that. You are still the same person. And by the way, there is a tool that is so great that you guys are well aware of, and it's on everybody's phone. They're holding it in their hands right now. It's totally free, and it's called loveology.org. It's a nonprofit, doesn't cost a dime. And Nick, you've been on there many times to answer questions, just like the one you're posing to me right now. And you're the true expert in this area. But I just want to let people know if they're looking for short form video answers to questions, just like the ones that we're talking about, it's an incredible resource. Not just from Leslie and me, it's from over 100 relationship experts. And so it's really incredible. If you have a question about, hey, how do I get my spouse on the same page with me for finances? Who better than Dave Ramsey to help you with that? Well, he's got a series of videos, each 3 minutes long, that you can get these little wisdom bombs. Maybe you're figuring out how to set boundaries with your in-laws. Who better to do that than Henry Cloud, that wrote the book on boundaries? And so, anyway, when you ask that question, I can't help but to think, well, the best person to ask that is Nick, and he does that on loveology.org.
I can't recall that was a question I answered, but I appreciate the promotion there. And
Yeah.
what I hear you saying in this question too, it's the kind of question if a person asks, well, when are we ready to have kids? Like, and the truth is, if you wait until you're perfectly ready, you probably never will be. And in our recovery journeys, if we've dealt with sexual brokenness, if we've dealt with pornography, if we're waiting for some golden age where we will have zero struggle, zero temptation, I'll just be in this totally free state. It's like, that's in some ways almost an unrealistic expectation. It is better to look around and ask, am I making progress? Am I having some traction? Am I seeing signs of health? Because just like you brought up, Les, we bring either our health or our unhealth into the marriage. And if we feel like I am moving towards a healthy direction and I've got friends or people that I really value their opinion that are affirming that and saying, man, I think you're really making progress. There's some maturing, there's growth. Then we can take stock in saying, I may not be perfected yet, but as I'm developing health, I can begin to explore marriage and relationships. And I just think that's a great idea for all of us to think about. I either bring my health or my unhealth into the marriage with me.
Yeah, I think it's the single most important thing we do in our relationship is work on who we are in the context of it. And by the way, you touched on something that the research shows is incredibly important for people that are thinking about getting married, and that is, are they getting the blessing from the people that know them the best, from their friends and their family? In other words, do they think, yeah, this is a good match? We like you guys as a couple. We think it's good for both of you. That is a huge predictor in marital success. And when you marry someone that everybody that knows you well goes, you need to slow down here, not a good sign.